In the Galactus Trilogy, Uatu the Watcher appears. Uatu is a cosmic entity who silently observes and had sworn not to interfere but breaks that vow to warn Reed Richards. Reed Richards is a brilliant scientist leading the team. He explains that the Silver Surfer, a metallic-skinned cosmic scout riding a surfboard, is searching for a planet for Galactus. Galactus is a massive ancient being who consumes worlds to survive. While the Surfer scouts, Reed alone does experiments in his laboratory. The Surfer locates Earth, signals Galactus, and Reed's teammate Ben Grimm collides with the Surfer, knocking him off the Baxter Building rooftop. After that, Galactus's world ship Ta-2 appears over Manhattan, and Galactus emerges to announce he will drain Earth's elemental life. The Watcher pleads with Galactus to spare humanity. He fails. Johnny Storm, called the Human Torch, and Grimm attempt to attack but cannot harm Galactus. The Watcher reveals the existence of the Ultimate Nullifier, a cosmic weapon capable of destroying Galactus. Alicia Masters, Ben's blind sculptor girlfriend, speaks with the Surfer who lies unconscious in her apartment. Alicia persuades the Surfer to betray his master. Uatu boosts Johnny's powers, so Johnny can travel to Galactus's homeworld to retrieve the Nullifier from Ta-2. Meanwhile, the team damages Galactus's machinery to delay him. The Surfer attacks Galactus, allowing Johnny to return with the Ultimate Nullifier. Reed threatens to use the device, forcing Galactus to agree to leave Earth in exchange for its return. Galactus departs, but he removes the Surfer's ability to travel through space-time, stranding him on Earth. Earth returns to normal, with most press dismissing the event as a hoax. This arc shifts the scale of threats from Earthbound villains to cosmic forces, and changes how the Fantastic Four are perceived in their universe. This monster, starts with Benjamin Grimm feeling trapped in his stone body when a man offers him shelter. The man is revealed to be a scientist who transfers Grimm's powers into himself using a device. That scientist appears as the Thing to the Fantastic Four, seeking to eliminate Reed Richards, believing Reed seeks fame. Grimm awakens human and tries to warn Reed and Susan Storm Richards that the Thing with them is an imposter. Their disbelief causes Grimm to leave the Baxter Building. Meanwhile, Reed tests his new negative zone portal. He instructs the Thing impersonator to hold his safety tether as he enters the antimatter dimension. When the tether breaks, the impersonator realizes Reed acts without seeking glory. That man jumps into the portal to save Reed, throwing him back across the barrier at the cost of his own life. Benjamin Grimm knocks on Alicia Masters' door, intending to show his human form. While waiting, he suddenly reverts to his Thing form as the impersonator dies in the negative zone. Grimm flees and returns to the Baxter Building. Reed and Susan understand that the real Thing is alive, and that the man posing as him died heroically. Reed expresses gratitude for the man's sacrifice. The story thus presents Benjamin Grimm enduring loss of his powers and fears of rejection. Reed Richards is shown risking his life for discovery and earns respect. The birth of Franklin Richards sees Reed Richards desperate to save Susan Storm Richards and her unborn child from lethal cosmic radiation. That radiation endangers both mother and baby, unless Reed acquires Element X, found only in the negative zone. Reed, Benjamin Grimm, and Johnny Storm travel to the negative zone and are captured by Annihilus, the ruler of the antimatter realm who wields a cosmic control rod that grants him immortality and control over matter. Reed leads a daring escape by stealing the rod and siphoning sufficient Element X before returning to Earth with Grimm and Johnny. They reach a hospital in time and Susan gives birth to a healthy baby boy. That child is later named Franklin Benjamin Richards, honoring Susan's father, Franklin Storm, and Grimm. The Birth in the Family storyline revisits Franklin Richards as an infant targeted by external threats from outside and inside the family. In that arc, Reed Richards carries out procedures in their Baxter Building laboratory to protect Franklin, while Susan Storm Richards cares for their child. During the storyline, Franklin becomes the center of attention by alien investigators and mystic threats, investigating his latent mutant potential. Reed uses scientific defenses and psychological shielding to ensure Franklin's safety. The arc highlights Franklin's importance as a nexus of power. It introduces Franklin's mutant status as a major factor in Fantastic Four continuity. Together, these two arcs chronicle the introduction of Franklin Richards and his emergence as a powerful mutant figure. In the trial of Reed Richards, the Fantastic Four discover Reed Richards is missing. Susan Storm Richards, Invisible Woman, summons Ben Grimm, the Thing, and Johnny Storm, and travel to the moon's blue area to seek Uatu the Watcher. Uatu transports them near a vast alien armada of races whose homeworlds were destroyed by Galactus. The group locate Reed bound to an execution device. An alien leader named Xan Xar explains Reed is accused of committing a crime by saving Galactus's life, an act that allowed Galactus to destroy populated worlds including including the Skrull homeworld. The Watcher halts execution and confines the Fantastic Four in thought bubbles, declaring Reed must stand trial. Reed testifies before the Galactic Tribunal led by Empress Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire. Reed admits guilt in sparing Galactus's life, framing it as the act being judged. He explains Galactus consumes worlds to sustain existence and functions as a universal force beyond morality. Witness testimony begins with Kurant Kiar, a Skrull survivor, recounting billions of deaths caused by Galactus. Other witnesses emphasize atrocities spanning multiple planets. The Watcher summons further defenses. Johnny is sent to retrieve Odin, a deity of Asgard, who recounts Galactus's origin as Galen of planet Ta, transformed into the cosmic being during a universe rebirth. Odin asserts Galactus tests worlds for worthiness. As hostility mounts, Galactus appears in the tribunal to speak in Reed's defense. Galactus claims Reed saved him and asserts his cosmic role justifies continued existence. Neither defense is sufficient alone. For final testimony, the Watcher and Galactus combine powers to summon Eternity, the living embodiment of the cosmos. Eternity reveals the cosmic truth that Galactus is necessary to universal balance. The tribunal's emotion-monitoring gems shift to white, indicting universal acquittal. Reed and the Fantastic Four are exonerated and return to Earth. This arc reveals Reed's moral stand, the universe's need for cosmic balance, and introduces the concept that saving Galactus may have universal benefit. The Into the Time Stream storyline begins with the team in Four Freedoms Plaza, their Manhattan base, preparing for a congressional hearing about a superhero registration act. A series of disguised minor villains infiltrate their headquarters, bypassing new retinal scan security systems, leading to chaos as Reed, Susan, Ben, Johnny, and internal team member Sharon Ventura, a rock-transformed ally, struggle to maintain order. The intruders turn out to be classic hired criminals, such as Constrictor, Beetle, and Shocker, who are captured by defensive beams and turned over to authorities. The team travels to Washington, D.C. to testify before Congress. Disguised villains again disrupt proceedings, prompting Reed to conclude this entire sequence is part of a larger temporal threat tied to a time anomaly, which he later traces to a dangerous time bubble in the future. Then, the team boards their time sled Rosebud 2 with allies Thor, an Asgardian warrior, and Iron Man, an armored inventor hero, and travel several decades into a dystopian future. In that future, they encounter a council of cross-time Kangs, multiple Kang the Conqueror androids ruling over variants of Earth. They battle a rogue Celestial who has manipulated Galactus into becoming a universe-destroying force. In their efforts, Reed attempts to use the ultimate nullifier to stop that altered Galactus from consuming all existence. The team then returns and discovers that they have inadvertently shifted into an alternate present. In that altered Earth, dinosaur-infested islands appear in modern-day settings, and an island scenario arises where team members lose powers. Sharon Ventura adapts to her rock form and navigates that crisis independently as others regain strength. This arc presents themes of time travel consequences, multiple realities intersecting, the fragile nature of temporal stability, and the Fantastic Four's adaptability as cosmic explorers. Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4 opens with Benjamin Grimm waking in a hospital and experiencing memory loss about recent events. That crisis marks the starting point of 4 character-focused chapters, as Ben questions his identity and fears betrayal. The story switches focus to Johnny Storm, who finds his energetic flame power failing amid manipulated dangers arranged by the sabotage campaign orchestrated against the team. Then, it centers on Susan Storm, as she struggles with intimate loyalty and unexpected emotional disruption orchestrated to distract the group from the real threat. The story returns to Reed Richards confronting a cosmic machine known as the Prime Mover that reshapes reality itself to isolate him for elimination. Sue rescues Grimm from a Doombot blast and retrieves a teleportation gauntlet to reverse the altered reality and restore Grimm to his rock form. The arc's central villain is Dr. Doom, the armored sovereign of Latveria, who harnesses the Prime Mover alien device to alter each team member's reality separately and pit them against their worst fears. Doom recruits classic adversaries, the Mole Man and the aquatic antihero Namor, to challenge the other members and keep them off balance, while Reed is targeted directly. The arc's outcome restores team unity, resets their reality disrupted by Doom, and reveals that Doom engineered individual psychological assaults to incapacitate each member before targeting Reed. In the Unthinkable storyline, Reed begins investigating a dark secret about Dr. Doom's mystical transformation. Doom is shown to have sacrificed the skin of his childhood love from Earth to create a new mystical suit of armor. Reed also discovers that Doom named Susan and Reed's daughter Valeria Richards after that lost woman, and that magical control was bonded to the infant at her birth. Doom's trigger word curse first reveals itself when Valeria says Doom as her first word, activating the mystical link. At that moment, Franklin is drawn into a portal to hell by demons summoned by Doom's sorcerer. sorcery. The team journeys to Latveria, confronts Doom's enchantment, and attempts to rescue Franklin. Grimm is isolated and attacked by summoned mindless ones from the dark dimension. Doom uses mystic energies to depower the other three heroes, swap their abilities, and imprison Reed in a vast occult library, demanding he learn magic to save his son. Reed struggles, but finds symbolic insight in a candle flame that hints knowledge isn't enough to win against Doom. The group mounts a final rescue. Reed escapes the library with aid from Doctor Strange, the sorceress defender of Earth. The team descends into hell, battles demons, ultimately retrieves Franklin, though Doom inflicts a magical scar on Reed's face. They escape back to Earth, bringing both children and collapsing Doom's ritual. This arc reveals the Fantastic Four, tested by mystical assault on their family, explores Doom's shift from science to sorcery, and establishes Franklin and Valeria as instruments in a cosmic revenge plot. The Storyline 3 introduces a growing crisis. The team must contain an invading swarm from the Negative Zone while defending the Forever City, a high-altitude technopolis threatened by an evolution-inducing machine called the Evolutionary Engine. Reed, Susan, Ben, Johnny, and their children, Franklin Richards and Valeria Richards, are all involved. Valeria accesses Reed's dimension-spanning bridge and learns of its interdimensional oversight by the Council of Reeds. The Fantastic Four face mounting pressure. Valeria disables latent mutant null interference so Franklin can unleash his powers. A coordinated effort closes the portal linking to the Negative Zone by force. Franklin eradicates the insectoid annihilation wave. The heroes decide the only solution is closing the Negative Zone portal from inside, requiring sacrifice. A final confrontation occurs in the Negative Zone. Johnny elects to stay behind and confront the endless swarm to allow Ben and Franklin to escape. As the Human Torch, he unleashes Nova-level flames and seals the portal, sacrificing himself to stop the invasion. Ben and Franklin mourn him outside the force field as Johnny flies into battle, flames blazing, alone. The end of the series depicts reactions from ally heroes, family grief, and shows Spider-Man comforting Franklin. The original series then relaunches as FF, introducing a reorganized team under the name Future Foundation and including Spider-Man per Johnny's will. The 3-arc tests the Fantastic Four through interdimensional invasion, moral choice, and ultimate sacrifice by Johnny. It alters team structure, sets new direction as the Future Foundation, and establishes the continued development of Franklin Richards in later storytelling.